This is Family Time 105, and we're going to do some goal reflection. The beginning of this school year was during our third week of the school year. We set some goals. This falls under our self-management social emotional learning standard. I asked my students to set some specific goals for this school year. And we also kind of had some general discussions about what they wanted to get out of the school year. That is one of the great things about being in education and just the academic calendar in general. It has these cycles. I love that. Maybe I'm biased because I've spent almost my entire life in school, either as a student or then as a teacher and a coach. I like the seasons. I like the cyclical nature of the school year. There's a different feel at the beginning of the year than there is in February, than there is in May when a school year is about to end. Because I'm a coach, the football season or the track season have a different feel. I like that things change, but there's a routine. It's sort of like the changing of the seasons, that we expect some different things. There's some different things about summer and winter. There's some things we can kind of rely on, but there's enough change. There's consistency and there's change. And one of the things I think is great about that is we have kind of built into the school year points where we can reset and assess. Maybe it's the end of a quarter, the end of a semester, of course, the end of the school year, where we can look back and sort of examine. Maybe it's, I've been struggling in this class a little bit, or I could maybe put a little more effort into my homework. So this quarter I'm really going to do that, but there's at least a little bit of a reset. Maybe it's this season, these are really the goals, whether it's athletics or other extracurricular things. This is what I'm really focusing on for my extracurricular time. I like that there's that opportunity to reset. And as an educator, one of my favorite things is to see growth. I see it every day. It's so funny when I get students who come in 6th grade, and I get to work with them until they graduate 6 years later. Really kind of 7 school years I get to know them. And there's all this growth and all this change. And that's a wonderful and rewarding thing. Then I want my students to spend some time just reflecting. It's kind of crazy how quickly the school year goes by. It's something I try to emphasize with my students and athletes constantly, is just how quick it all moves. And there's times I know when they're in the middle of it, and it probably doesn't seem that way. Seems like the day is dragging on, the class is dragging on, the weeks have been dragging on. But looking back, it goes very, very quickly. And to the seniors who are about to graduate, that tends to be a common theme. I think most of them tend to agree that, that went by faster than I thought it would. It didn't seem like that long ago that I was a freshman coming in and had all these big dreams and ambitions and goals and vision for what my life in high school was going to be. And now it's about over. We're at the tail end here. We're kind of winding down. I've planned out the last couple family times we're going to do for this school year. We've got things like prom and graduations and all those sorts of things are almost upon us. That's part of the end of the school year cycle, and it is a good time to reflect. As seniors, it's a good time to reflect on this year, but also on your entire academic career to this point. For those who aren't seniors, for my underclassmen, I want them to really be thinking about, did you accomplish what you wanted to this year? And where do you want to go from here? So I'm really just asking a couple questions. if my students remember them or have them written down. I know some wrote them down. Some we kind of had conversations a little more broadly, and I don't think that's a bad thing, kind of about what they wanted from this year. But to reflect back to week 3, I think this is like week 34 of the school year in terms of weeks we've had school. Doesn't count maybe when we've had a winter break or something like that where we didn't do a family time. I think this is our 33rd family time of the school year. So about 30 weeks ago. 30 weeks is plenty of time to make significant changes and make significant growth. And this is a good reminder when we look back to be like, holy cow, I've had 30 weeks to work on this thing. Then I can look back and say, did I really make the progress that I wanted to? Am I closer to the goal? That's what I'm going to ask. Did you accomplish your goal? And if you didn't accomplish your goal, are you closer? I want you to think about the areas that have gone well. Maybe the practices that you've started that have helped you. I also want us to think about maybe hasn't gone super well. What have been the challenges? And if you haven't met your goal, that's okay. The biggest thing for me is, are you on the path? Are you contributing to what you want for your life? Are you paying in? Are you putting forth the effort and trying to move in the direction you want to go? That's really the most important thing, is the journey, the process. Are you taking the steps? Things aren't always going to turn out the way that we want, but if we're committed to the process, we're at least living in areas we find purposeful, meaningful. We're living in areas that give us some joy, some sense of satisfaction, even when they're difficult. That's all we're really doing this week, is we're going to spend some time looking back at this year. And that helps us point our compass to where we want to go next. For my underclassmen, it's thinking about, what do you want to do with the end of this school year, with your next academic year? If you're a junior going to be a senior, what do you want your senior year to look like? If you're an 8th grader who's going to be a freshman, what do you want high school to look like? What do you imagine that experience being? If you're a senior who's graduating, if you're going to college or going into the workforce, whatever it is, what do you want next? Because this is a big step in life. This is a big change. That can be a great thing, and it can also come with some challenges. And that's part of the gig. And to help us set our new path and to move forward, we have to reflect. Much love.